JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, uncle stabbed to death, nephew on the run. A 60-year-old man was stabbed to death, and his nephew said to be on the run following an incident on Sunday. Initial reports suggested that 60-year-old Marvin Watson of Huddersfield in Storetown, St. Mary, was fatally stabbed during a dispute at a funeral of the nephew's daughter at Whitehall Cemetery, also in the parish. The cemetery is located some distance away from the now deceased man's home community. However, when contacted, a representative of the Corporate Communications Unit, CCU, the police's information arm, said the report on Watson's death suggested that he was stabbed by a man at his home in Huddersfield. Police reports are that about 4 p.m., a dispute developed between Watson and his nephew. Police said during the dispute, a knife was used to stab Watson in his chest. He was rushed to the Port Maria Hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. The nephew, police said, fled the scene and is being sought. The police did not give the reason for the dispute. Man gunned down in Spanish Town. A man was murdered in Trial Heights, Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Sunday night. He is Marcus Stoller, otherwise called Bussed, who lived in the community. Residents reportedly heard explosions sometime around 10:15 p.m. and called the police. The police say Toller's body was discovered with gunshot wounds to the upper body and head. West Kingston on edge. Residents in sections of West Kingston are now cowering in fear as they believe the shooting death of Nico Francis, otherwise called Frostman, in Tivoli Gardens on Sunday afternoon will spark an all-out war. Francis, who was shot multiple times in the upper body during a drive-by incident, was one of 2 men killed in the Kingston Western Police Division yesterday. In the other shooting, a man identified as Aborthe Pennycook, otherwise called Futali, was also gunned down by unknown assailants along Orange Street. Up to this morning, police investigators said that they were unable to piece the puzzles in either homicides. Several concerned residents in Tivoli Gardens say the incident could trigger a spate of reprisal shootings. The place gonna stay right already, and then this got me right now the new year. It's like peace and quiet can't exist at Tivoli, a fearful resident claimed. While the Tivoli residents were still processing the brazen midday shooting, persons in the nearby Denham Town community were also quaking with fear as they gathered for a funeral. Members of the security forces were kept on high alert as it was surmised that there could have been an attack on Chad Coleman's funeral. Coleman was killed on October 19 along North Street in Denham Town, Kingston. At one point, there were more than a dozen security personnel manning the perimeter in a section of Denham Town, particularly Milk Lane, after residents alerted them to a group of unknown men marching towards the area. The men, however, retreated and made good on their escape. A well-placed police source shared that following the death of Coleman, who is an alleged violence producer, threats were sent between rival gunmen from warring communities within the division. A resident of Denham Town also said she has also been hearing talks of an all-out war. She said that as a measure for her own safety, she has decided to close the doors of her business a little earlier than usual. "Me can't make myself get caught up in no crossfire," the woman whispered while looking from side to side. The Denham Town space has been the scene of a massive security operation for over 5 years, having been declared as zone of special operations in October 2017. Jamaican man killed in Turks Caicos. An investigation has been launched by the Royal Turks Caicos Islands Police Force following the fatal stabbing of a Jamaican man on Sunday. According to police reports, shortly after 3 a.m., they received a call that a man had been stabbed in the Palm Grove community. On arrival, they observed a man bleeding from what appeared to be a stab wound to the chest, lying on the ground unresponsive. The police report stated that the deceased, whose identity has not been released, is a 33-year-old Jamaican man listed as being employed as a chef. 2 men have since been detained by the police for questioning. Commenting on the murder, Acting Assistant Superintendent of Police Michael Francois said, "The identity of the victim has been withheld at this time, pending the next of kin being informed. However, I extend sympathy to the family and friends of the deceased as you grieve this untimely death. I'm appealing to members of the public to notify the closest police station or to contact Crime Stoppers and give any information on this murder. Your information will be treated with the strictest of confidence." Gunmen shot up, set fire to businessman's house, occupant saved by cops. Quick action by the St. Catherine South Police prevented bloodshed and possible death yesterday morning after the home of a businessman was shot up and set ablaze in Sakuba Pen in Old Harbour. The businessman was unhurt, the police said. Lawmen have since launched an investigation into the suspected case of arson and shooting. Information received is that about 12:15 a.m., the businessman was awoken by a loud noise outside his house. He got up and saw smoke coming through his bedroom window, made checks, and realized that a section of the living room and veranda were on fire. He also heard several explosions, sounding like gunshots, and was unable to leave the burning dwelling. The businessman managed to summon the police, who arrived and rescued him from the house. No motive has been established for the attack. 4 stabbed, 1 fatally at exotic nightclub in St. Ann. 4 people were stabbed, 1 fatally during a dispute at an exotic nightclub in Runaway Bay, St. Ann early Monday morning. Their identities have not yet been released. Reports are that the incident occurred about 4 a.m. in an area commonly known as Truck Stop. It is alleged that an altercation developed following an argument between the individuals. Those wounded were taken to hospital, where 1 was pronounced dead. Uzi seized in Spanish Town, man arrested. The St. Catherine North Police seized a gun and 13 rounds of ammunition during a joint police-military operation in Trial Heights, Spanish Town in St. Catherine on Sunday. 1 man was arrested in connection to the seizure. Reports from the Spanish Town Police are that about 11:15 p.m., lawmen in the area when they saw a man walking along the roadway with an object in his hand. On their approach, the man dropped the object and attempted to flee the scene. He was accosted and the item was retrieved and found to be an Uzi semi-automatic pistol with a magazine containing 13 rounds of ammunition. He was subsequently taken into custody. However, his identity has been withheld pending further investigations. Over in Hamilton Gardens, Gregory Park, a team of officers assigned to the St. Catherine South Police Division seized the gun and 10 rounds of ammunition during an operation on Sunday. Reports from the Portmore Police are that about 8:45 p.m., lawmen in the area when the premises was searched and 1 9mm Desert Eagle with a magazine containing 10 rounds of ammunition was found. No one is arrested in relation to the seizure. Investigations continue. Jamaica's murder tally of 32 so far. Jamaica so far reached a murder tally of 32 for 2023. This is a figure up to Saturday, January 14. The information is contained in the latest serious crime statistics published by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. The 32 homicides for the period represent a decrease of 56% when compared to the corresponding period in 2022. According to the statistics, the police division with the most murders is St. James with 5. This is followed by Manchester and Clarendon with 4 each. St. Catherine South, Westmoreland, and St. Andrew South each recorded 3 murders. There are no reports of murders in Trelawney, St. Ann, Portland, St. Catherine North, St. Andrew Central, and Kingston Central up to January 14. The statistics also show reduction in shootings, injured persons, rape, and robberies. Break-ins, however, are on par year on year. 2 killed in Santa Cruz motorcycle crash. 2 men died as a result of injuries they sustained in a motorcycle crash on Main Street in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth early Monday morning. One of the deceased has been identified as Theo Roden. A police source said about 1:30 a.m. the men were traveling on a motorcycle when it crashed into a wall. The men were flung from the motorcycle upon impact. The driver and pillion rider, both of Coker District in the parish, were pronounced dead at the Black River Hospital. Speeding is believed to have contributed to the crash. Common law wife shaken after contractor falls from roof, dies. A grief-stricken Sandrine Lewis is trying to come to grips with the tragic death of her common-law husband, Gregory Jones, who fell from a roof to his death while working on a construction site last Friday. Jones, a 43-year-old contractor, was affectionately called Capo, was of a Petersfield address in White House, Westmoreland. Last Friday, he was reportedly working on the roof of a studio complex at the White House Beach Club in his community when he lost his balance and fell to the ground, where he was impaled by a piece of steel in his mid-torso. His death has left dozens of people, including Lois and his 3 children, traumatized. Greg was a jovial person, a loving person, caring, jokified, hard-working, Lois said. The broken-hearted woman said Jones was more than a father to his 3 children, including her 13-year-old daughter. He means more than a baby father to me. I don't know how I'm going to cope, but me have to do it, because without me, them penny are not going to have anybody close to them. If them lose mother and father, it's not going to be nice. Them have to have somebody to uplift them, Lewis stated. Moreland Development Company Limited issued a release on the weekend expressing sadness over Jones's death. It is said he was employed by one of their subcontractors. Mr. Jones's passing resulted from an accident that occurred while he was carrying out his general construction work at a construction site in White House, Westmoreland, the release stated. Moreland Development said that its safety policies mandate that there is a vehicle designated for safety and security on all sites, and that the vehicle was immediately mobilized after the accident to transport Jones to the Black River Hospital, where he died while being treated. I never expect a house like this. Norma Peach's folks was overcome with emotions last Friday after the St. Mary native was handed the keys to her new home by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Folks cried openly as she thanked all parties who worked so that she could receive the two-bedroom house during the handing over ceremony in Port Maria, nearly a year after her previous home was ravaged by flood rains in February 2022. Oh God, what a great God. Thanks and praise to all the workers who built the house. I thank all of you. I give thanks in Jesus' name, she said. The ceremony was also attended by local government and rural development minister Desmond McKenzie, St. Mary Western Member of Parliament Robert Montague, St. Mary Central Member of Parliament Dr. Maurice Guy, Port Maria Mayor Richard Carey, Port Maria Councillor Jermaine Smiley, workmen and residents of the community. In an earlier address, Holness said that the government is taking steps to ensure that those in dire need are provided with houses. There are two programs of the government to treat with issues of social housing. One program is the new social housing program, under which you see me almost every week presenting to beneficiaries new housing solutions constructed for them, the Prime Minister said. And there is the indigent housing program, which is part of the responsibility of the Ministry of Local Government to assist persons who have been established as poor and who have had some form of disaster or impacted by some event in their life, such as, for example, a flooding or a fire, or a landslide, or the collapse of their house, and they are not in a position to recover or respond positively to those kinds of disaster events, he added. Holness said that the local government ministry is aiming to assist in just under 100 cases annually. You'd have seen the condition under which Peaches would have had to live as a result of the impact of the flooding. This housing program that you are seeing here, this lovely facility, is under the auspices of the Ministry of Local Government under the Indigent Housing Program, he explained. The Prime Minister also said that while there is always a challenge to provide assistance to all those who have been dislocated or have had their homes affected during flood rains and during the hurricane season, every effort is being made. The Prime Minister said that while there is always a challenge to provide assistance to all those who have been dislocated or have had their homes affected during flood rains and during the hurricane season, every effort is made to ensure that in every parish there is the ability to respond to such needs. We try to ensure that the person is genuinely poor. The unit here is a two-bedroom unit, and it has come in at approximately $9 million. It's a little bit more than what we do under the new social housing program. We have managed to bring down our costs significantly, but I can see why this unit is for $9 million, because of where it is and how you have to build, he said. I noticed you have a cellar under the unit, so you have raised it, and so all of these things contribute to the cost, and so you would have had to use more steel in the decking of the floor. So it is quite justified, the expenditure. The house is quite dignified, and I hold the view that not because someone is poor they should get poor house, Holness further noted. Folks and the 7 relatives, including her daughter Carmen Lewis, will occupy the new house. Francis said on Friday that she is overjoyed. I never think someone can get a house like this, she said. Then they promised we will get one new house, but I had my doubts about that. But now my whole family will now be living in a new 2-bedroom concrete house and will not go get wet. Francis said that whenever it rained, their other house leaked badly. Me really thank them and me happy for my mother. She has been through a whole heap, she concluded. In sports news, Girl 11 got the better of Larry 11 in T20 Festival. A jam-packed Treasure Beach Sports Complex witnessed a Chris Gayle-led 11 defeat a Brian Larry 11 by 11 runs in the Resi Legends T20 Festival match yesterday. Batting first, Gale's 11 posted 156 for 6 of the allotted 20 overs, with the universe boss himself top scoring with 52 from 37 deliveries. Gale's nephew Ricardo Maglici clipped in with 34 from 17 balls, as Damien Banks made 22. Krishmar Santoki took 2 wickets for 26 runs, with Howard Powell and Nehemiah Parry taking a wicket each. In reply, Laura's 11 got to 145 for 4 and 20 overs, with Wavell Hines leading the charge with 43 from 46 balls. Laura getting 32 and Delroy Morgan 23. Darren Lee took 2 wickets for 31 runs. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.